about the Philadelphia experiment. I know you talked a little bit about it in your book, but what's your feeling on that? The time travel. Have we perfected time travel?
No, but we've messed up a lot of. We've created a lot of rifts, and Colonel Corso knows about that. But that wasn't one thing he addressed in his book. I heard him say on his way from one thing to another, some reporter stuck a microphone in his face. Just wait till I tell you about how many rifts in time we created. So, time and space, or time-space events, are a lot better understood than most of the halo over the head of science people seem to believe. I think everyone who is on the cutting edge does know that there are things that are not anti-gravity, but creating gravitational fields operating within gravitational fields. The warping of time and space and time, space-time event horizons, not just in black holes, but the black hole, white hole scenarios of travel, intergalactic travel. This is very general what I'm telling you now. I'm not giving you celestial mechanics, because then I'd need a blackboard and I'd need to draw you some symbols, tell you what they mean, and then pursue those kind of equations. But in celestial mechanics, even the mechanics of celestial bodies is so much closer to the way extraterrestrials move, or shall I say, in space and time, pull the location to them.
Now, you witnessed some of the dissections. Were their brains that much different than ours tissue-wise?
Oh, yes.
They are.
Yes, much more developed. There was no corpus callosum. All four lobes were connected, and not by a corpus callosum.
Where did we get the beings that we dissected that you witnessed?
They were generally those who had crashed and suffered brain trauma, hemorrhage to the brain, and died. And we also needed our genetic material as soon as they did.
Now, have they said how long they've been coming here to Earth?
From before man was here.
So these abductions have been going on for hundreds of years?
I do believe so. I haven't got every part of the puzzle, but I certainly have enough to know that they were here before Homo sapiens was here.
Did they expand to you?
And they are our progenitors.
Now, these beings you allegedly worked with, were they...
Allegedly? I'll show you allegedly.
Well, did they look like this little guy here?
A little, but each one was different. I don't know about these people who say that the Greys are robots, because they're not. They're feeling, thinking. Some scientists have called them kissy-facey, because they love to be hugged.
Well, maybe
like dolphins, very much like dolphins.
Maybe the ones with no. They had no sex organs, were just the clones that do the abduction process for these other...
No, actually, they're not really clones in the sense of that they have a set of emotions, and they are very interested in our emotions to love, not the sexual things. I hear about, well, I witnessed some debriefings of military men who were so masculine that they couldn't bear the thought of lying close to what they perceived as a male, but not by any external organ, but they perceived as a male, and not into that homosexuality stuff. And that is, it's unfortunate because it's not a sexual thing. Yes, sperm and eggs were taken from some abductees, but not as many as most people think.
What about these missing, this big surge in missing people around the United States and possibly the world in the last 10 or 15 years? Do you think that has anything to do with these alien abductions?
I know one person who went because she wanted to go. She was a surgeon. And, much before I met my wife.
You knew a surgeon that was taken deliberately?
She's in the book.
She's in the
book. Dr. Candace Ryan, who wanted to go with them, was fed up with what she saw in the emergency room.
So where did they take her? Back to Zeta 1 or 2?
I don't know where they took her. Probably where she wanted to go.
Well, it must be, after 5 years of working in some very exclusive working conditions, I would say, there were probably some other things that you probably always wanted to talk about that you couldn't, that maybe some things you could talk about now.
No, that's a false. What else did you write on the bag?
Well, that's about it.
That's all of it?
Yeah.
That's all you
my sixth act that I had my notes on.
What else? Did you find out anything else about that 7-year period, or before that?
Well, with your degrees and your master in the biogenetic research and research in electromagnetic influence on living organisms, and you were there to see if there was a enhancement process or withdrawal in energies, and you've also always been seeking more education. You're highly self-educated, and you were educated by the government evidently, but a lot of your records have been withdrawn, and that's easy to do. And it was definitely done with Bob Lazar also.
It was done with Bob Lazar, but every time I mentioned that he was in part correct on some of the things he said, it wasn't totally.
I'm surprised you've made a few attempts to contact Bob Lazar, and he's never called you back.
I've spoken to Gene Huff, and Gene said, well, thank God somebody's saying that Bob... But there are people like Exler and a few others who do believe from his W4 that those numbers are in fact subcontracting numbers for the Department of Naval Intelligence, and that they, once you get an IRS, try to get the meaning of what those numbers are, either through Social Security or the IRS, there's a brick wall of security that is slammed right, or built brick by brick in front of you.
This is the projects are so compartmentalized that your specialty was chemistry and botany as far as your consulting.
Neurology too.
So it's possible that you like many other scientists that have been involved with these underground top secret projects have